Hola, estudiantes! Today we're going to look at por versus para. So what you have probably learned so far is that they both mean for, and that's right, they do both mean for, but they also are going to translate in a lot of other different ways, and you absolutely use them in different situations. So let's go ahead and get into it. Por. This says that we use por to talk about travel, exchanges, duration, reason, communication, frequency, and definitely many other things. So let's look at movement here. So we can use por to talk about movement, and in that case, yes, por can mean for, but it also can mean through or along. So caminamos por la playa, we walk through the street or along the street. In my case, I would probably say we walk down the street. And then corrí por el parque, I ran in the park, through the park, along the park. And then the second one, communication. Hablar por teléfono is really just a phrase that is just stuck in my mind, to talk on the phone. So I talk with my grandma on the phone on Fridays. And then I listen to the news on the radio. And then thirdly, reason and motivation. It also can translate as because of. So no podemos jugar afuera por la lluvia. We cannot play outside because of the rain. And now notice when you use it in that situation, we are going to follow up por with a noun. It's because of the rain. It may be I couldn't do something because of my homework, but it's going to be followed up with a noun. And then nextly, we have duration. So I studied Spanish for 2 years, so in that case, it is for. And then exchange. Te doy mi manzana por tu galleta. I give you my apple for your cookie. So in that case, we're exchanging something. Now notice we do have some expressions with por. Those are really, really good just to get used to. The more you use them, the more you hear them, the more natural it becomes. But these are very, very frequently used expressions. So absolutely spend some time working on those. So that's half of it. We've got por, and it really just takes some practice. And then para. This says that we use para to talk about destinations, purpose, deadlines, and again, of course, many other things. So first off, destination. We're going to use para for a destination when there's an end point. So fuimos para el supermercado. We went to the supermarket. So in that case, we wouldn't say I went for the supermarket. So I would go with we went to the supermarket, or maybe we went toward the supermarket. And then secondly, purpose or recipients. If you're giving a gift to someone, that is going to be para. So it shows that it is intended for something or someone else. So the chocolate is for the kids. The cake is for Roberto's birthday. And then this next one, reason or goals. In this case, in order to is how para is going to translate. And it does also say we're going to follow para with a verb. And that verb is going to be an infinitive when we're talking about a reason. So I study in order to be a teacher. We ran in order to be strong. And we could almost translate that infinitive as to become, in order to become a teacher, in order to become strong. So that's a really, really useful thing to know that para translates to. And then finally, we're looking at deadlines. If something is due at a certain time or on a certain day, then we're going to use para. The homework is for tomorrow. It's due tomorrow. I need to finish my homework by 5 o'clock. So sometimes that can translate as it's due at that time, or it needs to be done by a certain time. And just like with por, we had certain phrases that are really good to be familiar with. These para phrases are super good to go ahead and become familiar with. Now, I do want to point out para qué. A lot of times you will hear somebody say, para qué? And we would just translate that as why, just like por qué is why. But it's like, what is your purpose for doing that? You know, I'm looking for some kind of verb in response. For what reason do you run? I run in order to become stronger. And then also you have the phrase para qué, so that. So just like with por qué, if I say, por qué, usually you'll respond with por qué, because. Same thing here. Para qué, for what reason? Para qué, so that, I can become strong or something. All right, let's take a look at a few examples. We're going to decide, should this be por or should this be para? So this first one, manejo por la calle, manejo para la calle. Well, first off, we have to know what this means. Manejo is I drive or I am driving, and then la calle is the street. So think about that. I drive down the street. That is going to be por, because I'm talking about movement. I am walking or driving down the street, along the street. The next one, hay un regalo, something ti. There is a gift, something you. There's a gift for you. So, hay un regalo por ti or hay un regalo para ti. In this case, it is going to be para because it's showing a recipient. Also, this phrase, para ti, por ti just doesn't sound right in my mind. Para ti sounds much, much better. This third one, mañana mi tía y yo hablamos something teléfono. So tomorrow, my aunt and I talk on the phone. So por teléfono or para teléfono. So let's go back here. We are talking on the phone. Remember I told you guys hablar por teléfono is kind of a phrase that you want to get used to. That is talking about communication. So communication is going to be por. Hablamos por teléfono. And then this next one, something empezar, necesitamos estar en la clase a las 7. So something to begin, we need to be in class at 7. So what we're trying to say here is in order to begin, we need to be in class at 7. So por empezar or para empezar. So for this one, again, it is in order to. So we've got reasons or goals here. If we're saying in order to, it will be para. So para empezar, in order to begin. And then this last one, comimos something 30 minutos. So we ate for 30 minutes. We ate por 30 minutos or para 30 minutos. For this one, we're talking about how long we are doing something. So it is duration of the event. So it is going to be por 30 minutos. So por and para, just so you know, that tends to be something that beginning students struggle with a little bit. It really will help if you will spend some time with these expressions because they are so frequently used. And then really it's just a lot of practice in speaking and in writing. So spend some time working on those and really understanding the reasons for using these two words.